there! So, you're probably aware of my channel from my last video that I did on art trips I like, and I was working on a follow-up video about art trips I don't like, but I decided I didn't want to do it, so here's a different type of video I wanted to try out. I have done story times before, but they're very bad, so please don't go and watch them. Or you can, I can't stop you, just please be kind. So, I've had a lot of weird injuries in my life. Hell, my first ever story time was about how clumsy I am. And that definitely hasn't changed in the years since I made that video. But I have a lot of weird stories about my injuries that I wanted to share whilst you watch me draw. So I wanted to start off with something small, and I picked something that I feel like perfectly embodies the type of person I am. So one time last year, I was just sat at my desk in my room and I needed to use the toilet. I opened my door and went to go forward when I felt a blunt pain in my forehead. I was stunned for a moment, and I realised that I had walked into my door head first, the edge of it too. I had to spend a moment just standing there, processing the sheer stupidity it must have taken to walk directly into a door that was right in front of me. I had a bump on my forehead for about a week after that. I may have had a concussion, I'm not really sure, but I didn't want to tell anyone since my mum was already at A&E with my sister, so if I did damage my brain, I'll never know. The next story takes place when I was around 8 years old. I can't remember why, but I'd gotten my hands on a plastic skip rope, the type that sheds plastic fibres everywhere. Now, I have no idea what was going through my head at the time, but for some reason I decided to wrap the skip rope around my neck and tug back and forth on it like dental floss. Again, I have no idea why I decided to do this. I definitely knew what a skip rope was, I was just an idiot. But after, 10 seconds, I remember smelling burning coming from my neck, but I just ignored it for some reason. Then my neck started hurting, so I went to my mum, and she realised to her horror that I had given myself rope burn by tugging on this skip rope. My memory stops there, but it still makes me cringe to this day thinking about it. Around the same time as this, my family was having a barbecue with some other families in the village. The barbecue was closed but was still very much on, remember that detail, and I spotted the barbecue's top vent. I'll see if I can find a photo of what it looks like so you know what I'm talking about. I think I had seen a cartoon or movie where someone had shifted the vent to let out smoke, so I decided to grab the vent and try to shift it. If you already saw where this is going, you're probably already wincing with pain. If you didn't, this vent was made with metal, and metal plus heat means very hot metal. I burnt my fingers and pretty much had to spend the rest of the evening with my hand in a cooler full of ice. I have other burn stories, like the time I got hot glue directly on my fingers in an art exam, but I feel like this is the most ridiculous and the most representative of my childhood stupidity. I've only ever broken a bone once in my life, and it was when I was around 7 years old. Me and my little sister were being picked up from our nursery, and my mum was talking to our teacher, so me and my sister were hanging out in the hallway. We were in this one area that was between two sets of doors, one set leading into the nursery and one led to outside. Now these doors were heavy, and I mean the kind of heavy that an adult would struggle to open. My little sister was using her entire body weight to open just one of these doors, and for some reason I was holding out my hand as if to guide her, even though the door could literally only go in one place, so I don't know what my end goal was. For some reason or another, my little sister decided to pushed the door with all her might and slammed it full force into my hand. It was bleeding so badly, and I'm pretty sure I screamed so loud the whole nursery could hear me. We went to the hospital, and it turned out I had broken my middle finger, so I had to remove the fingernail for some reason. I had to have my fingers strapped together for a bit. Now, the injury story that inspired the title of this video is what I like to call my quintessential injury story, since it's the one I always tell people. And it happened when I was maybe 9 or 10 years old. So me and my sister were playing with some coins in our playroom. What were we doing with the coins? Couldn't tell you. Anyway, at some point, I think my sister dared me to put a 2p coin in my mouth, so I did. And when I went to take it out, I couldn't. I tried and tried, but it wasn't coming out. The coin had managed to get stuck on the roof of my mouth, suctioned itself in there. I went to my parents, but they couldn't get it out either, so we went to the hospital. By this point, the roof of my mouth was turning white. You because the coin was cutting off blood circulation, so we really needed to get it out of my mouth. We went to A&E and saw doctor after doctor, probably all coming in thinking that I didn't need to go to the hospital and was making a big deal out of it, but very quickly realising that the coin was not budging. The doctors started asking my parents how long it had been since I'd eaten, which meant that they were considering surgery. This was slightly worrying to my poor parents since they were planning to go out that night and a surgery could mean they'd have to stay in the hospital with me all evening. Obviously, and they were concerned about their young daughter having to get surgery. But just before any decisions about surgery could be made, another doctor tried one more time to get it out with a pair of forceps, and the coin finally came out. We were able to go home, and I learnt my lesson: never put coins in my mouth ever again. And there we are. I hope you find these stories entertaining, and let me know if you like this type of video. I might make more. Bye! Hey, so editing Amelie here. Fun fact, I didn't realise how long the sped up footage of the speed paint would be, but lo and behold, I'm here editing the audio and I still have 2 whole minutes to go and I've completely used up all of my audio, so just off the cuff, no script, because I didn't plan this, I'm going to tell you about different injury I had, which I'm honestly surprised I didn't put in the original video since I did go to A&E for it technically. So this was around about when I was maybe 9 years old. Clearly this time in my life was just a big time for injuries, and I was playing with my younger sister and I was sort of lifting her above my head whilst lying on the sofa, and she was small enough that I could lift her above me just about, but she sort of rolled off sideways and completely bent my pinky back, and I don't know what she even did. I think I might have to ask about this, but I think she tore a ligament or sprained it or something. But it hurt for a very, very long time, and I also had to get my fingers strapped together. I'm clearly not good at taking care of my fingers because this was the second time that I had issues with fingers. I also have vague memories of having my arm in a sling when I was like 5. I don't remember what it was for, I just remember we had the sling. It was made out of like foam. But yeah, due to me not having a memory of it, that's not going in this video. And yeah, so thank you for listening to me ramble again. Thank you, bye.